Beginning our Daf, Mesech is Gitin Daf, Ayin Dal. Beginning 13 lines down at the top of the Amud. But the Gemara continues the theme of the previous Mishnah regarding this, making conditions regarding the get, regarding the halacha of almanas, on condition. So, our Shir goes about the Kazakh and the Chetzka turn to the Afachayim, which in today's Daf. Some discussing in today's Daf are, if the husband says, this is your get, on the condition that you give me money. This is an old story, people looking to get money out of a get. So she's going to be divorced, v'titin, and she gives it. Now, the question that's going to be discussed is, does the get take effect mikan laba, or mishas nasina, or when he gave her the get? Because the question is, how do you translate v'titin, that she gives it? Also, the halacha of kaloim amanas, karma'achshav dami, that whoever says on condition is like he's saying that it should be from right now. It's just a stipulation when you fulfill the stipulation, but it's from now. Here's the Gitin Daf. What happens if he says on the condition that you give me money, but he dies? So she can't give him the money anymore. What do you do then? Well, let's say he says, it's talisi. On the condition that you give me my rekel. Above it's talisi and it gets lost. What happens then? Here's the Gitin Daf. You give me 200 zuz. He says, I'm Michael. What would the halacha be then? She didn't give it, but Maisa was Michael. So we begin the current Daf, Daf Ayin Dal, 13 lines down at the top of the Amud. Like we said, the Mishnah continues with the theme of the previous Mishnah of conditions. The husband says to the wife, look, here's your get. On the condition that you give me 200 zuz. Okay, she'll be divorced, but v'titin, Daf gave him the geld, she has to give the money. That's the condition. Let's say he says, on the condition that you give it to me within 30 days. So, okay, if he gives it within 30 days, she'll be divorced. But not, she won't be divorced. He says, there was a story in Siddur in which the Gemara is going to ask, what did we say in the Mishnah that he's saying is story? Because usually a story is coming to support something he said in the Mishnah. It sounds like he's saying something different. Someone said to his wife, this, you get on the condition that you give me my cloak. And she lost his cloak. The sage said, no problem, give him the monetary value of the jacket. Says the Gemara, the opening halacha of the Mishnah said, he says the condition that you give me 200 zuz, you give me divorced, v'tite. Says the Gemara, my v'tite, what does it mean? And she should give it. So it's a machlekes. Rav Huna says v'hi and she should give it. Rav Huna says likesha when she gives it, which means say when she gives it, then it's going to be a get. Says the Gemara, what's the difference between them? The difference between them is if the get tears or gets lost before the money is given. Oh, Rav Huna says v'hi and she should give it, meaning it's just a condition. When she fulfills the condition, it was retroactively revealed that the moment the get was given, it was a get. Because whenever you say almanas, it's like me'achshav dam, it's like now. And it's just that with the condition of this should be fulfilled. Saying the tzrichim and the get change doesn't require a second get because I was already divorced 3 days ago when you gave me the get. Rav Huna says, no, likish atitim, when she gives the money. So tzrichim and the get change doesn't require a second get from him because when she gives the money, the get's not here anymore. And the get only takes effect when the money's given. So therefore the machlekes between them is regarding if the get tears or gets lost. The Gemara says, interesting, we find their same machlekes, it's not going to be kedushin, we find their same machlekes regarding kedushin. There's not the Mishnah Masechet kedushin that says, if someone says to a woman, you are engaged to me, on the condition that I give you 200 zuz. So he gives her this small little ring, but he's like, don't worry, on the condition that I buy you, I give you this 200 zuz. Sorry, she's engaged, Gitin, but Adaf gave him the geld. He has to give it. Vidmo, he said, what does it mean that he gives it? Say machlekes. Vidmo says, Gitin, and he'll give it. Vidmo says, no, likash when he gives it. Only when he gives it will the condition take effect. Says, what's the difference between them? The difference between them is let's say 2 hours later, she's walking in the mall, and another one of her boyfriends, he says, here, I bought you this beautiful watch. I want Harriet Mukadesh's Likidas Moshe V'Yisrael. And she gets that before this other guy gets able to go to the ATM to take out his 200 zuz to give her what he promised her for the Kedushin. So this is the machlekes. V'Udamai says, he just has to give it to Nabalmu. It was just a condition. Mekayim Tnav Azul. He fulfills the Kedushin, and he goes because his Kedushin was first, retroactive. The second guy's Kedushin was nothing. Sorry, buddy, you lost out. I already got her 2 hours before you. Even though I only come back 3 hours later because my ATM wasn't working at the bar for my mother, I get 200 zuz. Doesn't make a difference. It was just a condition. No, Rabbi Yudama, he said, when you give it, only when you give it is a kedushin. Hashlav kedushin. Now it wasn't kedushin. You lost you didn't come back with the 200 zuz. The guy who gave her that Rolex first, he wins, and it's his kedushin. Now says the Gemara, okay, why do you have to say the same machlokes both by Gitin and kedushin? So the Gemara goes through actually a lengthy explanation to say why b'tzricha it was necessary. First, it goes through in Rav Huna, and then in Rav Yehuda to explain why they had to say their opinions of both Gitin and kedushin. The Yeshmin Gabi kedushin had we said Rav Huna's teaching regarding kedushin. Bahakam Rav Huna maybe only over there did Rav Huna say behu yitin again, which is that it's just a condition, and of course it's when you did it and it's done. You just have to fulfill your condition. Maybe you only said about kedushin mishum the krevakasi. What is kedushin? To create a closer relationship. So therefore, yeah, obviously you want to get engaged right now. From this moment is when you want it. You just I'll get you the money, a few hours, a few days later. But maybe regarding divorce, which coming to distance the couple. It's like Rashi says, Mistamam, with great difficulty is he divorcing his wife. So therefore, maybe he means likish atitain. And he thinks, in the meantime, I'll appease her. Because, we'll get divorced, but you got to give me this and this and this. And it's like, okay, until she comes back, they will appease. Maybe there you would have thought he had likish atitain. Even Rabbi Yehuda, I would say maybe agrees with Rabbi Yehuda. They would have to say not only his opinion by kedushin, but also by Gitin. Now the other way around, you could also say, okay, wait a second. That maybe v'yashmini gabi gerishin, maybe only say regarding gerishin. No, I would say maybe only by divorce. Welcome Rav Huna v'hititin. So we could say it both ways. That maybe only there did he say that it's from right now. Why? Should be like cost of the mitzvah. The husband, remember, by the case of gerishin, he's demanding, he's saying, it's a get, but you got to pay up. He's not embarrassed to claim his monies. So therefore, we don't have to suspend the get that it'll only be when he gets his monies, because he's confident he'll get his monies. So he's saying, yeah, let the get happen right now. But by kedushin, the woman is embarrassed to say to the guy who just gave her a ring, say, didn't you promise me you're going to give me 200 zuz? So, even Rabbi Yehuda, maybe I would say that there Rav Huna would agree with Rabbi Yehuda that no, it's not that she's in agreement right now, and maybe it would only be kedushin later on when he gives the money. Therefore, you have to say Rav Huna both by the case of get and by kedushin. Same thing works by Rabbi Yehuda. Go back to the other opinion. We only said this machlokes is by kedushin. I would say Bahakam Rabbi Yehuda likashid. That's what Rabbi Yehuda says that when the monies are given, then they're going to be engaged. Yeah, you know why? From the ksiva l'mitvah. Because since she's embarrassed to claim the money from him, she's not willing to be engaged right now. She needs the money to be given. But regarding divorce, he's not embarrassed to claim the money from her. Even by Rabbi Huna, I would say that maybe Rabbi Huna agrees with Rabbi Huna that it will happen from right now. And had we said it only by Gerishin, that's what Rabbi Yehuda says, that when the money is given. Why? Because that's coming to distance the couple. So, that's Rabbi Yehuda says halacha that it's only going to happen later. Because regarding kedushin to make the couple closer, I would say maybe he agrees to Rabbi Huna that it should be from right now. They have to say the machlek is both for both of them, both by Gitin and by kedushin. Nothing about however asked Meis van Yehuda. Yehuda had said that it was dafka by that it means when it's given, then it's going to happen. The Gemara asks from the following brisa. The brisa says, this is your get. Amanasha titnli masayim zuz, on the condition that you give me 200 zuz. Says the brisa. But even though the get is torn or gets lost, mikureshes should give me divorced. That refutes Rabbi Yehuda. Of course, it says that even though it gets torn in the meantime, so obviously it's not like kashatitin. It's behu sheyitin. Now, but the brisa does say obviously she cannot get married to someone else until she gives the money, because maybe she's not going to give it and it doesn't come out to get his bottle. But when the money is given, she will be divorced even though they get torn in the meantime. So that's one question of Yehuda. By Tanya, moreover, we learned in the brisa that says, let's say the husband says to his wife, this is your get. I'm not sure you titnli masayim zuz. In the condition that you give me 200 zuz. Well, Mason, the husband dies. So if she gave the money before he died, okay, and there's a kukul yavim, she doesn't have to do yibum because she's already divorced. Lay nasna, if she didn't give the money, zukukul yavim, she's going to have to have some type of relationship with the yavam, and basically the Tanakh holds it's not enough to give the monies to the Yerusha. Shmuel says no. if she wants to, in the sense, she can give the money to his father, or Elachim to his brother, or Lechem to one of the relatives, and that would be considered that she fulfilled the condition that she gave the money. But one thing says the Gemara, Ad kan le pligi, up until this point, we don't have the machlekes ela demar, so it's just a Tanakama holds li. When the husband says you have to give me the money, means not for my inheritors, and therefore, okay, you didn't give the money, and therefore you have to be addressed by the Avim. Umar Savar Reb Shmuel held, no, li to me means even to my inheritors, the father, the brother, whatever. But according to everyone, you do see that to nohaba is just a condition, and that the get is not suspended on the time of when the money is given. Because if it would be like a shatitin, like Rabbi Yehuda says, only when the monies are given, even if you're going to say like a shimglil that when you say give the money to me, it means even to my yarshim, but it's still going to be a get lachamisa. It's only taking effect when the money is given. He's already dead. So to Rabbi Yehuda, from these two brises, you see refutation of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda would tell you Hamani, who's the town of these brises, is Rabbi he. Rav Huna Amar Rabbi. Kolo Amanas, whoever says on condition, which is what he's saying, Amanas, it's like he's saying it should be from right now. In other words, now it should be a get on the condition that you fulfill the condition. But a plig Rabban Aleha. Rabban disagree with Rabbi. Another Amik Rabban, I like Rabbanan. So therefore, when you give a condition, it's not from now. It's only likashatiten. So again, it's machlekes tanaim. However, Amar B'Zeiri says, Kavin B'Bavel, when we were in Bavel, Amrina, we said, as we just said, whoever says on conditions like he's saying from right now, we had said, Pligi Rabban Allah, that Rabban disagree. But Kisaliki, when they went up to Eretz Yisrael, Ashkachasil Rabasi, and Kandra Rabasi, the Yasa become Meshmidi Riach, and he was saying him Rabbi Yechanan, that actually, Hakol Moedim Ba'im Amanas. Everyone agrees when you say on condition, it's coming Akshav Dami. Not like Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda wanted to answer. He said, no, I'm not difficult because I'm like the Rabban who disagree. No. Rabbi Yehuda says, everyone agrees, it's like you're saying from right now, and therefore, if let's say they get tears or gets lost, she would be divorced. The machlekes that the Rabban have with Rabbi was it was only when you say from today and after I die. Where that's where the Rabban were not sure. Was that a Tanai? Was that a backing out and changing his mind? Whereas according to Rabbi, and we quoted this on the previous daf, it's definitely a Tanai. As a Gitin Tamid Beis, V'hatanya. This is not a question type of V'hatanya. This is as we learned in the Brisa, that from this Brisa we're going to see that from the fact that they had to disagree regarding this case of Mahayoy Malachamisa, must be that by a regular Amanas, they agree that it is from right now. And it's not like Rabbi Yehuda is saying that it'll be likashatiten. Because what does the Brisa say? If someone says, and this we had on the Afayin Beis, that this is you get from today and after I die. So get v'neget devacham says, okay, we're not sure what that means. When you said ula achamisa, what today and after you die? How could it be both? Are you making a condition? Are you backing out and you're saying no, I don't want it from today? I want to be achamisa. Okay, we don't know. It's a suffix. Rabbi Yomi says, no, because again, it's going to be a get. And yeah, it's from today if he dies. Now, says the Gemara, Olu Rabbi Yehuda. Now, however, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Lama that he says, Bamanas Pligi, he says that actually they disagree not only on this case of Mimalach Misa, but rather like he's explaining, as we just said a few lines before, that they disagree regarding Amanas, and that don't ask from me from those brides that say Amanas, that it's going to be taking effect from now, because that's like Rabbi who holds but Rabban disagree with that premise. And if that's the case, instead of them disagreeing in this brisa, from today and after I die, you could disagree with such a more classic case. And let us know that according to Rabbanan, Amanas is going to be puzzle because it's likashatitein, and for sure such a case of Yom. So on that, Rabbi Yehuda answers, now the reason why they disagreed, it's not difficult in Rabbi Yehuda. The reason why they mentioned specifically the case of Yom HaChamisa was the Rabbi. We want to say the strength of Rabbi, that Rabbi, even my Yom HaChamisa is going to say it's going to be good, but according to Rabban, you're right. Even Almanas is also going to be possible because it's going to be a problem of Get HaChamisa. Says Gemara, but wait a second, why disagree in the case of Almanas, to say how stringent they are, that even Almanas would be possible because it turns out that the money is only given when he's dead. So the Gemara, a classic answer the Gemara gives, is that we'd rather tell you the strength of an opinion that says something permitted than that of forbidden, because you could always say usa b'mach machma. You're saying heter and saying that no, even if you say ma'yim alachamisa is going to be a kosher get of that of Rabbi, is what we prefer to say, and if it's not difficult on Rabbi Yehuda. Now the Mishnah said that if the husband says that almanah shetitni li mekan b'shleishim yoyim, that a condition that you give me from today up until 30 days. So we said in the Mishnah. So okay, that would have to be done within 30 days. So Gemara says, Pshita, obviously that's what he said. So you want to know, Ma'adim, why would you say kapte lav kapte? That really is not so particular. It has to be within 30 days. Well, that's because he's just coming to try to motivate her to get this done. But if she comes to day 31, it would be good. Kamash Mon, they would say no. You come within 30 days, good. If not going to work. Now the Mishnah said, Amr Shem Gamliel, he says, that there was a story in Tzidon, B'chulu, etc. So the Gemara says, my Tana, what did you say in the Mishnah previously regarding monetary value? Diktani Maisa, that you're saying a story. In other words, what's the proof? Like Rashi says, we don't say a story in the Mishnah unless we're proving something. But you didn't say anything about monetary value to bring a story. The Gemara says, that word's missing. Really what it's supposed to say is like this. Im amala. If he says on the condition that you give me my jacket. Vav did and she lost his jacket. So the Tanakh holds, okay, it's lost daf, come along. He specifically said my jacket, and that's it. You don't give the jacket, it's not again. And this is what's missing. He says, no, Titan lost the mel. He could give it the monetary value because he just wanted the profit. He didn't want dafka the jacket. And that's what the Mishnah says. There was also a story in Tzidon. Someone said to his wife, here's a Gitin Daf. This is again a condition. You give me my cloak. And the cloak gets lost. The Chacham said, she should give him his monetary value. That was Rabbi Shloimy Schwartzberg in this machlekes. Now, related discussion, interesting relation. The Gemara is going to compare and contrast these different opinions to tell us what the halacha is. The Gemara says like this. They had the following question. If the husband says, this you get, and the you give me 200 zuz, and then he went back and said to him, I pardon you, don't worry, you don't have to give me the 200 zuz. What's the halacha going to be? Will we say that mechila is like fulfilling the condition as if she gave it to him, or not? So now the Gemara says, Tiboy Rabbanan and Tiboy B'Shemil. You could ask this question according to the two opinions that we just mentioned from our Mishnah. What's the question? So the Gemara explains like this. Actually, the Gemara is going to see this in two different ways. Tiboy Rabbanan, you could ask this question according to Rabbanan. They said, monies cannot take the place of his jacket. And therefore, money will not fulfill the condition. So you could say like this. Where do we find Rabbanan saying their opinion over there that money's it has to be the thing itself? Yeah, because he didn't pardon her. I want my jacket. You give me the money? That's not going to work. But here he's telling her, don't worry, I'm meichel you. It's as if I got the monies. Because mechila is like receiving what I demanded. So therefore maybe that would work. I didn't maybe no. I could tell you the other way around. Even who says the monies would work, that's elad dekama faisalai bedami. That's only because she's appeasing him with money. So money is the equivalent of the item itself. But totally not giving anything, even with mechila, maybe that's not going to work because you didn't give anything. So he responded to him and he said that no, she's not going to be divorced because it's not a fulfillment of the condition. Because you're right, mechila is not effective. Nothing was given. On that, the Gemara asked on Rabbi Yochanan from the following Mishnah Masechtas Nedar. The Mishnah says, if someone says to his friend, I am taking a neder that should be on you for any benefit that you'll have from me. I mean, you can't have any benefit from me based on a neder. Meaning, if you don't give to my son, I mean, he's trying to leverage him and say, you will not be able to have any benefit from me if you don't give to my son kor echad shel chitin, 1 core of wheat, 2 barrels of wine. So what's the halacha? He says, okay, I'll start eating until the guy gives what his demands are. He's forbidden to have benefit from that person. The sages say, no, avzeh. Also, this guy, if the one who takes the neder wants, yachal hater as nidra, he could permit his vow by itself, without even going to the sage to undo it. Because you could say, it's as if I received it. So wait a second, you see that mechila is like Kabbalah. So you see, not like Rabbi Yochanan. Says the Gemara, can you compare the case? It's not true. Asm over there, by the case of Rabbi Yochanan, is litzeucha kamachaven. What's his intent? His intent is to pain her. And he didn't pain her. He wanted like, yeah, you think you're just gonna get divorced? I'm gonna do what it takes. You're gonna feel it. So even though there was mechila, that's not going to be effective. It didn't do any tzad. But hach over here by the guy who's making demands and the guy who has the wheat and the wine, it's for profit. He just needed for his son. But the son didn't need it anymore. So therefore the guy won't be usher anymore for his kainim. This doesn't contradict Rabbi Yochanan. Similar machlekes, the Gemara brings the following story. Who gaver? There was a certain person, he said to his sharecropper as follows. Interesting case. He says, Kula Alma, the whole world, meaning all other sharecroppers in this town, dalu tlas dalvasa. They water the field, they water the grain 3 times in the year. And va'achli riva, and they consume a quarter of the profits. Meaning the customer, the sharecroppers would take a quarter of the grain because of the efforts of plowing and planting and weeding and watering and all the needs of the field. Now you have a different proposition. At dali arba. You'll water the field 4 times, not 3. But va'achal tilsa, you'll take 1/3 of the profits, not just a quarter. Now what happened was l'seif asimich at the end, the time of the 4th watering, it rained. They didn't have to water the field. So maybe he says, halay dala. Okay, so they didn't draw the water and water it a 4th time. So they're only going to take a quarter of the profits, like the minig hamakim, because they didn't do 4 times. Rabbi Amay says, no, halay itzrucha. They didn't need to. And it was that guy, the sharecropper's mazel, that, okay, I would have done it, but I didn't need to, and it got watered 4 times. So I will get a 1/3 of the profits. This is the machlekes Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef. Says the Gemara Uwa. Lema, let's say that this machlekes Amaram is the machlekes Tanaim that we're quoting before. Lema Rabbi Yosef Dama Karabanan. Rabbi Yosef, who says, let's look at what happened. Did you water it 4 times? No. Then you don't get a 1/3 of the profit. That's like Rabban who says, did you give me my jacket back? No. Then that's not a get. I don't care if you gave me the equivalent. But for Rabbi would be like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel that says, no, you could give the equivalent. Money's in place of the jacket. Here also, the rain was in place of us watering it. So similarly, the machlekes Amaram is the machlekes Tanaim. Says the Gemara, V'tizber, is that logical? But for a technical reason, it can't be what you're saying. Why not? Because the Gemara says, well, Kaimalan, but we know Hilchas HaKavasei de Rabba. Halacha is like Rabba in every place that he disagrees with Rabbi Yosef, except, as the Gemara tells the Baba Basta Daf Kof Yadalid, for 3 places. Arev, Tzidon, and Rayach Reina. And guess what? This is the Maisa B'Tzidon, which Rabbi Shimon Gamliel said in the Mishnah, Maisa B'Tzidon, that we don't pass like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. I mean, sorry, this was, so besides Sada, Inyan, and Mechza. So, halacha is like Rabba. Now, Baha ain't halacha Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. But here, the Gemara is going to tell us later on, actually, meaning on the next daf, on Ayin Hey, that 3 cases, we always pass Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, except for 3 cases, and this is one of those 3. So how can you tell me that the Lashitasim of the Maram is these Tanoim, comes out, Rabba's Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, but that would be contradicting your halacha. Because you say halacha is like Rabba, and halacha is not like Shimon Gamliel, but they're the same opinion. So the Gemara is going to do with 180 now. Ela olam k'Rabbanan. Rather, they're both, according to the Rabbanan, actually not a 180. They're both like Rabbanan. Rabbi Yosef is k'Rabbanan. So that makes sense. If he says it has to be exactly, did you water it 4 times? No, you did it 3 times the rain. We're not considering equivalents. That's like Rabbanan who says you got to give the jacket. Rabba Malachi would tell you, no, darmi for Rabban. I could even be like Rabban. Why? Ad can like come Rabban Hasan. Where do you find Rabban over there that say that it has to be bedavka? That's because el dsur kamachavin. His intent when a person divorces his wife, there's usually a big fight that's going on. So therefore, out of doubt, we're going to say, why did he want her to give her the 200 zuz? Just to wanted to hurt her in the bank, and we're not saying that he wanted some type of a profit. So if you're going to give the monetary value, that's not going to be effective. I want dafka. I want you to get me the jacket. I want to hurt you. I want to make it difficult on you. So if you can do any of the equivalent, it's not going to work. But over here by the sharecropper, what's it for? It's for profit. And you didn't need the 4th time me water. You didn't want to just me to. You don't want me the sharecropper to work. You don't want to say, yeah, I want to see you in pain. Then I'll give you a third of the profit. That's a masochist. That's not how people are. So therefore, that's why Rabbi would say that no, I could even be like the Rabbanan, because the Rabbanan would agree over here that you wouldn't have to be actually doing the watering yourself. Now, relating to the halacha of the Mishnah, the Gemara says, "Nan hasam." Learn over there in the Mishnah Masechtas Erchin of Laman Alvam and Beis. Interesting phenomena. But it used to be in the beginning, Nitman, that someone who bought a house in a walled city, Yom Shnei Masachedish, the day of the end of the 12 months, which the halacha is that if it's not redeemed by the owner after 12 months, he can't redeem it ever again. It's over, done deal. Now, you know how it is. People wait till the 11th hour, to the April 15th to file their taxes, mamash to the last minute. So the last day is when the seller's looking to go ahead and buy back his field. So it used to be the guy would hide on the last day of the 12 months that the seller shouldn't find him to give him the money. That's it, that the house should be confirmed for him. As the pasuk says, that's it, it's done. So Hiskin Hil Hazaka, and so Hil the elder instituted, Sheikh Chaylish, which the word Chaylish means like to throw, that he should throw Esma'isav Lilishka, the money into a certain chamber that was prepared for this. And he could break open the door of his house, he could go in there. Whenever the buyer wants to, he could come and take his monies. That was the takan of Hil Hazaka. Now, Rabba said, wow, you know what you hear from the takan of Hil? Meaning, from the fact that he had to make a takana to say that a forcible nesina will be a nesina, you learn the following halacha. If a husband says, this is your get on the condition that you give me 200 zos, if she gives it to him with his consent, she can be divorced. But if she forcibly gives it to him, in Magaresh, he's not going to be divorced. Why? Because from the fact that we see the hill had to be masakin. Nesina bal karcha, a forcible nesina, davala nesina is going to be nesina, meaning we need a hill to be masakin, something like that. So you get tin tab ein ham and alf, that means to say that in general, nesina bal karcha lav nesina means to say that if you force a nesina, it's not a nesina. Now, by get, which is a case of Isser, hill wasn't masakin anything. Over there, by the case of the Batei Arachayim, he instituted. But here he wasn't instituted, and therefore you see that if even though he says on the condition you give me money, but I don't want to accept it, if she says no, you told me, and she throws the money in it, it's not going to work. That's the sin of Karcha that you see from Hill's Takana. But the Gemara says, wait a second, asking Rav Papa. No, it's the same case of Amanasha Titli Mesayim Zuz. So we're saying another halacha related to that case of Amanasha Titli Mesayim Zuz. Now, Master Rav Papa, Rav Shimon Ashi asked on Rav, says, wait a second. The Dilma, maybe, ki itzrich le'lisekune, when did Hill have to make his takana? Was only shalei b'fanav. Like over here, the guy would run away, and he's not there by the chamber. So Hill had to be masakin, that Afil dimensions nishdu, he's not here. But yeah, it's going to be considered as if you gave it to him. Ab'fanav, maybe the guy was there, maybe even if he was agreeable or not agreeable, it would be in the sin. What are you proving if the wife says, you told me it's going to be a get, if I give you the money I borrowed, whatever, here's the money, you take it. Maybe that would work. Because Hill didn't have to be misakin on the scene of Al-Karchay, or he had to institute it when the guy's not there. So that's the question on Rabba's teaching. Now, Be'ikadam, those that say a different version. Amar Rabba says, Mitzakanosah shall hold from the institution of Hill, that he said this halacha of the Batei Arachayma. So you see the following halacha. If the husband says this, you give me 200 zuz, and she gives it to him. So whether this version is different, this version is agreeing to the question of the previous version, that whether he's in agreement, whether it's forcible, having the sina. Why? How do you see Bal Karchetz in the sina? Because where did we see he'll have to make his takana shlei because the guy wasn't there. It sounds like if the guy would have been there, the forced money would be in the sina. So you see, forced giving is considered in the sina. So you see that, contrary to the first version, Rabbi is saying that, forget. Even if she forcibly gives the money, it's going to be considered in the sina, which the Gemara has a problem with this version also. She says, not true. Maybe even if the guy is there, I can tell you only midaiti in. It's only considered giving if he's agreeable. If it's forced, it wouldn't work. The hill, what he needed is what he was masakin, meaning he saw people were hiding. So he instituted that two things, forcibly And even if the guy's not there, it'll be in the sina. But even if the guy would have been there, and the guy would say, well, I'm not taking the money, he'll maybe still would have had to institute that it should be considered as a giving. It's just that he didn't have to institute it because the guy wasn't there anyway, so he didn't do it. But by get, which is isser, which I could tell you it's not effective even if the guy's div is not agreeable, we never made a takan of hill, and maybe it would not be like Rava, maybe it'd be like the first version of Rava, that no, only if he accepts the money willingly, but if he's not willingly accepting it, would not be considered as a get. Thank you to any time for hosting us.